Detective duty was just asking shot at, and we had half a dozen Marines KIA, many more wounded by the end of 2003. The Mooj snipers were shit, but their IEDs terrified us. The whole house of cards tipped over on the last day of March 2004. Okay, Billy thinks this is where the story really starts. And I got here with a minimum of bullshit, as up yours would have said. By then, we had moved from Ramadi to Camp Baharia, also known as Dreamland. It was in the countryside about 2 miles outside of Fallujah, west of the Euphrates. Dom's kids used to R&R there, we heard. George Dinerstein and Don Cashman were back with us in Echo Company. Four of us were playing poker when we heard shooting coming from the other side of what we called the Brooklyn Bridge. Not just isolated shots, a regular barrage. By nightfall, the rumors had settled and we knew what had happened, at least in the Broad Street. Four Blackwater contractors who were delivering food, including for our mat, Dreamland, decided to take a shortcut through Fallujah instead of going around, which was the normal protocol. They were ambushed just shy of the bridge over the Euphrates. I suppose they were wearing their armor, but nothing could save them from the concentrated fire that poured into the pair of Mitsubishi Utes they were driving. Taco said, what in God's name made them think they could drive right through the center of town, like it was Omaha? That was dumb. George agreed, but said that dumb or not, there had to be payback. We all thought the same. The killings were bad enough, but killing wasn't enough for the mob. They dragged the dead men from the Bishis, doused them with gasoline, and set them on fire. Two of them were pulled apart like rotisserie chicken. The other two were hung from the Brooklyn Bridge like Guy Fawkes dummies. Next day, Lieutenant Colonel Jameson showed up while our squad was getting ready to go on patrol. He ordered me and Taco down from the back of the Hummer we were in and told us to come with him because there was a man who wanted to see us. The man was sitting on a pile of tires in an empty garage bay that stank of motor oil and exhaust. But it was also hot as hell because all the doors were closed and those bays had no air conditioning. He stood up when we came in and looked us over. He was wearing a leather jacket, which was absurd in a stinky room that must have already been 85 degrees. It had the Dark Horse Battalion emblazoned on the breast, consummate professionals on top, and get some on the bottom. But the jacket was just for show. I knew it right away, and Taco said afterwards that he did too. You only had to look at him to know he was fucking A CIA. He asked which one of us was Summers. I said that was me. He said his name was Hoff. Billy stopped short, bemused. He had just crosswired his present life with his life in the suck. Was it Robert Stone who said the mind is a monkey? Sure it was, from Dog Soul. One where Stone also said that men who shoot elephants with machine guns from Huey helicopters are just naturally going to want to get high. In Iraq, it was the camels, the grunts, and jarheads sometimes shot at. But yeah, while they were high. He deletes the last line and consults the monkey who lives between his ears and behind his forehead. After a few seconds of thought, he comes up with the right name and decides the mistake is entirely forgivable. Awful's at least close. He said his name was Foss. He didn't offer to shake hands, just sat back down on the tires, which was sure to dirty up the seat of his pants. Said, Summers, I heard you were the best shot in the company. Since that wasn't a question, I didn't say anything and just stood there. Did you make a 1,200-yard shot across the river from our side? Took a quick look at Taco and saw he had heard it too, and knew what it meant. Our side meant anything outside of town. If there were sides, that meant we were going in. Are you talking about hitting a human target, sir? I am. Did you think I was talking about beer bottles? A rhetorical question I didn't bother answering. Yes, sir, I could make that shot. Is that the Marine answer or your answer, Summers? Lieutenant Colonel Jameson kind of frowned that, as if he didn't believe there was any answer except the Marine answer. But he didn't say anything. Both, sir. Confidence maybe not so high on a windy day, but we, I cocked a thumb at Taco, we can correct the wind. Blowing sand is something else. Wind speed forecast for tomorrow is 0 to 10. Boss said, that wouldn't be a problem? No, sir. Then I asked a question I had no business asking. But I had to know. Are we talking about a bad Haji, sir? Lieutenant, the LC said I was out of line. Would have said more, but Boss waved a hand at him and Jameson closed his mouth. You ever tagged a man before, Summers? I told him I hadn't, and that was true. Tagging means sniping, and when I shot Bob Brains, it was up close. And this would be a very good way to start your career because, yes, this is a very bad hobby. I'm assuming you know what happened yesterday. We do, sir, Taco said.